come to Prague, meet European Bitcoiners because we are different.
I felt it last year. Like when you go in there and you see all these other Bitcoiners, you talk with them, there is a different vibe. This energy inspires something in yourself.
We aim for 8,000. I think that we could manage to get 9,000 people there.
There was no shitcoining. There was Bitcoin only. The crowd was amazing. Why is it important for other Bitcoiners that are listening here to meet other Bitcoiners in person? Why should someone go to a Bitcoin conference?
Yeah, a good question. I think it's very important because you cannot get some things online, and there are many reasons. To be more specific, I would say that the biggest reason why, and you have to differentiate Bitcoin meetups and conferences. Yeah, it's a scale. Every meeting has a different reason. But if I'm talking about conferences, I would say that the biggest reason why to come is conviction. If you are a Bitcoin newbie or you are not so well into Bitcoin, still you need to get through the rabbit hole. This will speed up your process tremendously. You come to the conference, you see so many people with a similar mindset. You see the companies in the expo. You can talk to the people from the companies, to the employees, and this will raise your conviction because it will show you that Bitcoin is a real thing and it's industry like every other. And this conviction, of course, will help you to be more calm while the volatility of Bitcoin price and it will make much easier to stack sats and get rid of fiat. That would be the first reason, I would say, for newbies and for people who need this conviction. The second is a feedback loop. So if you come to the conference or meetup, you can ask people about something and you can have a really good discussion, and you can ask many people and get many different ideas, and then use your critical thinking and make up your own idea. In the internet, online, it's not possible sometimes because there is so much noise and people are not so nice to each other, and there are many trolls. And with AI now, you cannot trust everything. Yeah, so it's very difficult for a newbie or for pretty much everyone to say what is true and find some solid ground. So that's a second reason, the feedback loop. It's also like when you listen to talks. Of course, you can listen it online from recording, but if you listen it there and you are sitting next to other Bitcoiners, you can feel the vibe. That's very good. But after the talk, you can actually talk to the speaker. They are usually very happy and they are talking to plebs. Or you can ask someone else next to yourself, hey, what was he talking about? Can you please explain me? And this feedback loop, this second step, is very important part of the education. The another reason I would say is networking, and that's for people who are more into Bitcoin already, and they are looking for opportunities for business or just for fun, make some more friends. Because sometimes we feel like we are the only Bitcoiners in the world because we are sitting behind a computer, but it's not true. Maybe there is a group of Bitcoiners in our city, and we just need to meet them and build the trust, the first connection. That's again coming to the online world, the trust issue which we have, because most of us use avatars on the social media. So it's very good to meet the person in the real world, and then the communication through the chat apps like Telegram, Signal, it's absolutely different because you know who is on the other side. That's the third reason, networking. And then I would say that it's the biggest reason, and I know that because I'm talking to our customers and our attendees. It's fun. It's just incredibly enjoyable event because you meet people who are very like yourself, and you don't talk only about Bitcoin. You talk about the other topics, and Bitcoiners tend to be very smart and very open, very helpful to each other. And they all like to have fun. You don't see grumpy faces. You drink beer with others. There are many side events usually which are happening around the conference, and because we are so early, all the speakers are usually partying with plebs. So this just gives you an opportunity to meet the people who you listen on the podcast, or you read their books, and they are just plebs like us. So it's a fun to meet them in the real world. So that would be like, I would say the reasons. There are many of them, and I'm personally surprised that there are no more people coming to the conferences. And I'm always thinking, why is that? Yeah. And trying to convince people to come to conference, not only from my selfish reason because I run the conference, but because I really believe all these reasons are very valid, and they will help Bitcoin grow, because the ecosystem need more people, need more workers, so to say, yeah, because the opportunities are there, and Bitcoiners just need to grab it. The companies are looking for more people, like for hire. There are job opportunities, and this makes me think, like, why is that the people are not coming? And maybe one of the reasons is OPSEC, operational security. They want to stay private. Maybe they are afraid that someone will steal their Bitcoins if they know their real identity, and that's valid fear. Yeah, that's valid concern. So I maybe address some points which we are doing for mitigating this concern. The first one is that you can buy a ticket for BTC Prague with Bitcoin, with Lightning. That gives you quite a good privacy. We don't collect any personal data, no KYC. We just need an email, and you can do a one-time email address for this purpose. And if you come to the event itself, you can use mask. Masks are allowed, and you can just blend into the crowd. And I would say that this is pretty easy to do if you just follow just the basic steps to prevent yourself from doxing.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I just want to add one more thing. I was at the Bitcoin Prague last year, and I loved it, and I will go this year too. By the way, for everyone that wants to meet me, wants to go do the event, wants to have cool interactions with other speakers, have all those things that Matthias just talked about. There's a link down below where you can sign up. And what I wanted to add to this list is the energy. I felt it last year. Like when you go in there and you see all these other Bitcoiners, you talk with them, there is a different vibe. There is something going on. This energy inspires something in yourself. Like I listened before this event so much to Michael Seyr already. Like I was sick of hearing from him because I listened already so much to him. But at this conference, it inspired me to do so much more. And I just grew from my social media and everything so much since this event, because it inspired me to do even more in Bitcoin. You meet other people, you can connect, you can find job opportunities, all the things you said. So everybody that wants to be involved in Bitcoin should at least try one Bitcoin conference. If they don't, if they never was, they should try it once. And I think everybody that already was, they will buy it themselves anyways. Like they know what how amazing this feeling was. And if they have time and if they have the financial means to go to this conference, they should definitely do it. Yeah. What I'm also curious about is what was your personal favorite moment of the last conference of last year?
Thank you for kind words, and I'm happy to hear that we helped you, we inspired you, and that you are another success story, because we have so many of these stories, and it always please my soul. My personally favorite moment, there were so many, but I would say that I really enjoy Saturday because I could see that there is no more hiccups, because it was our first international edition. So you can imagine running a 6,500 attendee conference. It was a lot of work. So Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, I was really busy. I couldn't enjoy myself. I was running around. But Saturday, after the morning welcome talk, I could really feel that I can like have a break and just walking around, seeing the faces and shaking more hands and actually have a coffee with someone. So this like nothing specific, just really enjoying the atmosphere and seeing so many familiar faces and that everything is working.
Amazing. This is the question I have the next, because it's special to get so many Bitcoiners in one place. It's a task that's not easy, and I also know that you have Prague, like a Czech language conference. So my next question would be like, how do you manage to get so many great speakers, including Michael Saylor and really the big ones, and also so many attendees? Like the speakers is one part, the attendees is one part, and the location, everything. Like, how do you manage to get all this together, and where does this all start?
Okay, that's a very complex question. TLDR is that we are we are doing only Bitcoin conferences. We don't do anything else. This is our main focus and main job. We are a team of now 7 people who work only on these 2 conferences, and it is and why how we managed to get so many people there. It was a snowballing effect. We started in 2020 with our Czech speaking conference Chain Camp. We had 3 very successful edition. And in 2021, when we had 2,000 people there, only in Czech and Slovak language, yeah, that's the interesting part of this. Yeah, only in Czech we managed to get 2,000 people there. So it was probably the biggest non-English speaking Bitcoin only conference in the world. We actually decided that we will run one more conference, and that's BTC Prague. And we will materialize all the opportunities we gather where we travel the world and we visiting other conferences. And that's the part of why and how we are traveling a lot. Last year we visit, each of us. I'm doing it with my brother Martin. So we kind of have the superpower to be everywhere. We always split. And so we manage to be on many conferences. We are talking to other people. We are researching the community, staying up to date with the trends, and making sure that we just bring the best content to people. We are filtering the noise. So and that's why it's so good, because we are putting so much effort to tune everything on all fronts, and it's food, it's the content, it's speakers, it's the vibe, it's music. There are thousands of small steps which needs to be really managed, and we love what we are doing, so we spend a lot of time on it.
Yeah, the focus is great. I got yesterday a comment on my YouTube video. Robin, you're the hardest working Bitcoin podcaster on YouTube, and I'm like, yes and no, because I'm only doing podcasting. Like, I of course do my Twitter and other stuff. I'm working with companies, but if you have one focus and you couldn't do only one thing, then there's a lot of things are possible, and I love doing it. And one more part that just we did not mention till now, and this podcast is also Bitcoin only, and I enjoyed the conference so much because there was no shitcoining. there was Bitcoin only. The crowd was amazing. I never was at such a big conference where there was just Bitcoiners. I did not meet like a lot of altcoin. Maybe it was just my bubble. Like maybe I don't know, but I didn't. I only meet Bitcoin only guys.
Yeah, because we are very conservative as a founders and curators of the content. We are very conservative, so we don't give space to even slightly like built on Bitcoin bullshit. And I can name it like, okay, you start with on the very far like a blockchain Web3, then it goes through some like bad L2s which have some tokens, and then you go through ordinals and inscriptions, and you can stop in some part, but we are on the very conservative part, and that means that we attract only the hardcore part of the Bitcoin ecosystem, and maybe it's someone can argue that it's not a good approach. And I'm always saying that that's what we are. We are doing conferences how we like it, and we are doing conferences for people who are on the similar path as us as a monetary maximalists.
Amazing. And I'm also proud that I'm living so close to this amazing Bitcoin conference, because I was at already some, and I can definitely say this is one of my favorite Bitcoin conference at this scale. This is like Bitcoin only. The crowd is amazing, and yeah, I also like Czech in general, but people might not like Czech. I don't know, but I like Czech a lot. And as a Bitcoiner, you will enjoy this Bitcoin conference, yeah, a lot. What inspired you actually to get started? We touched on the story a little bit before, but before we get on the story, like what was the starting point? Why Bitcoin, and why then starting a conference in it?
I would say that is very classic story. I got into because of the money, and then stayed for the technology. I went through the classic shitcoining phase. I lost most of my Bitcoin during the 2017 until 2019 bull bear market. A lot of trading, a lot of bad decisions, and that kind of taught me the hard lesson that Bitcoin only is the way. And what was the moment we decided to actually throw the first conference? It was because we saw that there are no conferences in Czech Republic. There were just meetups in Prague only, in Paralnipolis, and some small conferences as well, like HCCP, the Hacker Congress, very good conference, but nothing in the bigger scale and for newbies. So we decided that we will organize this like Bitcoin, and at this time it was still mixed with just like a slight crypto. It was like a DeFi kind of style, like maybe a bit of Ethereum in the 2020, I must say. And yeah, because I used to live abroad, and I visit some conferences, and I saw that how good is it, and how I love it. Yeah, like meeting other people and talking about Bitcoin is always very pleasant. So yeah, we just used the opportunity, and because it was in 2020 in the COVID time, the restrictions were very strong, and we managed to throw this event during September 2020, when you couldn't plan anything. It was impossible. Like the restrictions were, one day was okay to go out, and the second day, if you didn't have a dog, you couldn't go even outside from your house. It was very strict. But there was a small window of like, I don't know, like 2 weeks, when the restrictions went actually down, and the maximum number of people were 500. So we said to ourselves, yeah, let's do it, and that was the beginning. Yeah, it was a big success, and the next years we always doubled. So the 22 was 1,000 people, and 21 was 1,000 people, and 2022 we had more than 2,000 people there in the Czech and Slovak language.
How many people do you expect at Bitcoin Prague this year?
Well, we aim for 8,000. I think that we could manage to get 9,000 people there in a total, but we want to keep everyone convenient. So we don't aim to have like full house. That's not what we want to achieve. So we are still counting the numbers and making sure that we have enough sitting outside and inside for everyone. And at this moment, it seems that 8,000 is the ideal number where we know that everyone will be happy and there will be no big lines on the food and not a huge crowd and not too hot in the conference hall, and the air condition will handle it. So there are many things what we need to put into these factors.
Yeah, amazing. It felt like that last year. There was always space. I mean, the only exception maybe was Michael Saylor's speech, where I think everybody was in there. I was half an hour early there and sat like in the fifth row or something like that. That was an amazing feeling, by the way. And maybe let's get into Czech, because I have a lot of American viewers, a lot of viewers outside of Europe, even. Like I think my top countries are like America, Canada, Australia. For them, it's like they probably never been to Czech. Maybe they've never been to Europe, and they might take this Bitcoin conference as a reason also to visit Prague, to visit Europe, to visit Czech. Why should people visit Czech Republic? What's a little bit the story between of Czech, and is there connection to freedom?
Yeah, there is a huge connection to freedom. Czechs have, and I don't want this to sound as a history lesson. So I will just say that, like in a very long history, Czechs have always been under some oppressive regime because we are a very small country, and we always had to fight for our freedom. We always won the fight, but we lost the freedom because someone else had a stronger hand or army. So, but the very early history is like that Czechs had been under the Russian communism regime, and this made people quite like against the authority, like not respecting the authority, doing their own things, and like don't give a fuck, if I use this word. And also it created the craftsman culture, because as you might know that and your listeners, that the communism is a centrally planned economy, and that means that nothing is on the market. The market is very limited, and if you wanted to have something nice, something different than others, you had to make it yourself. Okay, there was a one car on the market, and you had to wait a long time. There was two pieces of furniture for the living room. Yeah, if you wanted to have something else or in different color, you had to make it yourself. And these little things, together with the communism regime, created this kind of counterculture and parallel structures in the society, where people knew that they need to take care about themselves if they want to live better life. So it was a craftsman culture, but also education. They knew that in the school they are washing their hands, brainwashing their hats. So they created like afternoon schools where they were teaching about freedom. And this whole thing create quite natural ground for Bitcoiners. So when Bitcoin appeared in 2009, there were a few people who are into this in this space until now, and they were meeting in the hackerspace in Prague, in Bermlab, and these people are Pavel Stigrusnak, Marek Palatinus, known as a Slash, Karel Kijovsky and Jan Čapek and Pavel Moravec, people from Brains and General Bytes, and they were geeking about Bitcoin and solving their own problems with what they didn't like about Bitcoin. So the first ever mining pool, slush pool, was invented in Prague in 2010. Then the first ever hardware wallet, Trezor, was invented in Prague in 2012, I think. Then the Brains took over the slush pool. They came up with the first open source firmware, also in Prague. And General Bytes, the biggest Bitcoin ATM manufacturer, was invented in Prague by Karel Kijovsky and his team. So this gave a very good ground to the Bitcoin community. So with the time, the Bitcoin community grew. There was also, and it still is until now, Paralelní Polis in Prague. That's a 3-floor building painted on black, welcoming hackers and crypto anarchists and people who actually like this part of the movement. And it's working without fiat since 2014. Yeah, they are not accepting fiat. It's probably the only place in Czech Republic. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there is one more or a few more, but this whole thing, it gave the good ground for the people to actually learn about Bitcoin in the right ethos. I would say that we don't have much of the shitcoining anymore. The Bitcoin hardcore community is big. We have Bitcoin meetups in 30 cities all over Czech Republic. And since last year, there is an application called Kverko, which give you an option to pay with Bitcoin and Lightning in more than 1,000 pubs all over Czech Republic for food and drinks.
Really cool. Really cool. Yeah, I like also the Bitcoin scene in Prague and in Czech. There's like Treasure. I have soon a podcast with Vexel also. They're all going to the Satoshi Labs. So I think the Bitcoin scene in Prague and in Czech is amazing. What do you see like when we have like this Bitcoin Citadel in Bitcoin Prague, where so many people come and you feel the fire, you feel the world in a different sphere. Then you go back to normal land, it's a little different. What do you imagine a world looking like if there are only Bitcoiners, or like at least Bitcoin is kind of a full adoption standard? What do you see as like changes in the world for that?
Well, this is very far away from now. I don't even have like an educated guess how long it will take until the hyper Bitcoinization will come. We still need to solve some scaling problems, which are now, I would say, very trendy topic. No one really knows how to solve it. So there is a big, big problem in front of us, and I'm pretty sure that we will solve it, and that it will change a lot. Yeah. Bitcoin, yeah, the saying is Bitcoin fix everything. And like, if you take it like from the very abstract way, I would say that it's almost true, but not to speak in the absolute terms. I feel that from the social aspect, Bitcoin really changed the time preference of people and give them the ability to save and plan more long term, and that's very healthy. It also gives people hope and ability to fight against inflation. They don't need to get the whole thing, the whole complex Bitcoin theory, monetary philosophy, technical part. Each of us will take only what they need for their life, and that's enough. So in the future, I think it's very bright, and we will be looking back and reading, and our kids will be reading the history pre-Bitcoin and just shaking their heads like how stupid the people were using some central bank currencies and listening the governments. I really believe in the sovereign individual thesis, and that's also for not everyone. So I believe that it will just everyone needs to find his own way in the future, and Bitcoin will bring the responsibility for individuals. I believe in absolute responsibility. Governments, they took care about us, same as a church before, but now same as we separated state from the church, we need to separate money from the state, and it's just another level of evolution for a civilization.
21 Bitcoin is Bitcoin only from day one, and they teach and preach self-custody. This is my go-to exchange when someone asks me, oh, where can I buy my Bitcoin from? This is the easiest entry for Bitcoiners. And if you want lower fees, plus at the same time support this podcast, use code Robin and click the link in the description. It's always interesting for me to experience with that thought how politics and states and governments look like if they don't have the possibility to print anymore, and they actually have to tax people, and then people are like, I don't know if I want to support that with my taxes, because people are really furious about taxes, but they're not as furious about money printing because they don't feel it immediately. And you can even, like, for example, in Swiss, I don't know how it is in Czech and Swiss, you actually have to pay your taxes yourself. Like, it's not like most people in Austria, they get the paycheck and they get the money in the bank, and it's already have been taken care of the employer. So they don't notice the taxes. But in Swiss, people actually have to pay themselves, and that's why they have a way better connection with the government and the taxes, because they actually have to pay it. They have way more on direct democracy and stuff like that. How do you see, like, do you see any vision? You mentioned the Bitcoin, the sovereign individual, when from a political sphere, when we have not the ability to print anymore. I mean, could be long. I mean, maybe governments always print something, and Bitcoin is always like just another option to the government money. I don't know how the future will look like. I have certainly a lot of different opinions already on my podcast. How do you see that as Bitcoin forcing governments to be more frugal also with money and more efficient in government spending, or maybe even going to like government as a service where you can choose your government? I had the author of the Bitcoin Nations book on, and he said, like, you can freely choose which government services you take in the future, and you can choose, like, oh, I want this government service, or I don't like it. It's like a really free model, where the borders are not as important anymore as it's now.
Well, yeah, that's a difficult question. I don't know. I wish I would still be alive when this thesis will be playing out, and many people will be living in the, like, choose your government world, because it's already happening now. Yeah, you can pretty much do this flag theory, they call it. Like, okay, you have one passport in Paraguay, you have one passport, or in Dubai, and then another one somewhere, and you have your company there, you have your family there, and you're using this like a opportunity of others, of other nations, and you craft it to your special needs. So it's already here. It's just that most of the people don't use it, and it's quite costly. So I believe that it's gonna be better and better, and more people will be using this, because it's, as you said, like, people don't like to pay taxes, and the inflation is just another tax which is invisible, and people will be leaving. The people who are rich, who make the money and who value their freedoms, they will leave the countries where are these draconian regimes, because they just don't feel like living in a socialism lefty regime where you have to work hard to support someone who is lazy. Yeah, this doesn't make sense. Yeah, it's just I don't know, like it doesn't make sense for me, at least. Like I'm working my ass off, and I want to choose who I support, not that someone will do it for me.
That's amazing. The last thing I want to ask you about the regulatory. Did you had any encounters in Czech with having such a big Bitcoin conference, or do you? Because I feel often like in in Europe in European Union they try to limit stuff. They are trying to put pressure on Bitcoin. I mean, we have Swiss, we have other nations where there's a lot of things involving and innovating. But did you had any encounter with regulatory stuff that you like that's not good, but or is Czech a little bit more free in that because there's so much going on anyways?
Yeah, again, I'm not the best person to talk about it because I don't follow politics at all. I don't like it, so I'm trying to stay away. But of course, I need to know what is happening. So I can give you some broad perspective what is happening in Czech. It always has been like the Czech was very, let's say, tolerating to crypto and Bitcoin holders. So of course you have to pay income tax. Some of the problems, I would say the worst is for the companies that the banks don't want to open the bank accounts. So there is a lobby initiative in Czech who are trying to make this better, that they would put a law that every company has a right for a bank account. It seems like it's going to be approved soon, and together with this Bitcoin crypto lobby, they want to approve a law of the time test, similar like in Germany. Like if you hold Bitcoin for 3 years or 2 years, I'm not sure, 2 or 3 years, you won't need to pay the income tax from this. And there are a few more, I would say, proposals for the government, for the parliament, which are in the process. And it seems like that the politicians are listening, and they are very open. Also, the central bank is quite open and friendly, I would say. And if you ask why, I would say that it might be because we have quite deep roots in Austrian economics. Even the central bankers know about Austrian school, and that means that they recognize the opportunity and don't feel like they need to fight Bitcoin. Yeah, it's more like that they are looking for the right way how to merge these two systems. At least that's my impression.
Amazing, yeah. I also think game theory will play out, and I'm like you. Actually, I don't follow politics. I have one, two friends that are actually politicians in my local town, and in Austria, this is where I like. And they are all Bitcoiners. Like I only be friends with politicians that are kind of Bitcoin friendly or like want to be Bitcoin. And that's, I always enjoy them talking, and I always ask like, oh, what can we do to embrace Bitcoin more on a political scale? Because I see so much happening in Swiss. I don't see anything happening in Austria, unfortunately. In Germany, as you mentioned, I think it's 1 year even. When you hold Bitcoin more than 1 year, you get it. You can sell it tax free. In Austria, the same was true, but now they deleted that, so you have to pay 27% taxes, I think, when you sell. I don't know about it because I never sell. I just buy. So I don't even know what the tax on that is. I hope I never have to experience the tax on my Bitcoin. I will try to avoid it at somehow. Maybe let's get closer to the end before we get to the real end routine. What do you think? What will be your highlight of this year's conference? What do you see like as the moment you're looking forward to the conference?
Well, the highlight would be probably the theme of the conference, which we are trying to and we talking. I'm talking to every single speaker on the conference, and I'm pitching my idea of level up, because I believe that many Bitcoiners are actually ready to level up, and that means for someone to do a little bit more, to upgrade your stuff. And so for someone it can be stop buying Bitcoin on exchange, buy Bitcoin, no KYC. That's a very important step for leveling up, for being better with the technology. For someone it can be start using hardware wallet. For someone who has a hardware wallet, start using or secure Bitcoin with multisig, or Shamir secret sharing, or run a node. That's super important. So we will be encouraging people to use the technology, and we will be empowering everyone there with exactly what they need. So for everyone there will be something what they will learn, and every speaker is let's say instructed to give some action call, how to use it. So the talks are not only interesting, but they are actionable. And that's very important, because people like to learn new things, but there needs to be some steps to make. And so we are tailoring the program this way, that the people should be able to, after the talk, to really take it and use it for their own good.
Will it be similar than last year with the 3 different stages, with the main stage, Czech stage, and the stage in the hall, in the, how is it called, booth hall?
Expo hall.
Expo hall, yeah.
So yes, we will have 4 stages, same as last year. So it's a main stage, it's a Czech stage, which will be bigger this year. We will move it more further in the venue, and expo stage. And the 4th one is a VIP stage, which is in the VIP area, and that's not recorded because we like to. It's only for the best speakers, and because it's not recorded, we expect that the speakers will share something more juicy. What would they might be afraid to share in front of so many people and on the camera.
Yeah, and I think it's a good thing to do actually, because when you have a threshold to stuff, you can also sort of filter kind of. But I was not at the stage last year. I might consider this year, and I love that. Bitcoin conferences bring so many values, and I love the concept of level up actually, that you're doing every talk, every stage you're doing with the theme of leveling up, because when we see Bitcoiners, we're all so early to it. It's like we are in the internet stage of 1995, and we can really bring something valuable to the globe. We can bring something amazing to the world with Bitcoin, and everybody that can be now in this will benefit from it greatly, I think. And so on a personal level, but also on a greater scale level, it's amazing to level up in the Bitcoin community. And I like the theme about it. Last question before the end routine. Is there anything beyond the Bitcoin conference for your company and Bitcoin Prague that you want to do? Is there anything of a vision of what you want to do in the coming years? Is it like maybe more conferences in other areas of Europe or maybe even America? What do you see as like the next like 5 years? Do you have anything planned that you can share?
Yeah, no, I must disappoint you. We are not planning anything. The Bitcoin ecosystem is evolving so fast that you cannot plan too much upfront. We are always planning 1 year and maybe the second year, maybe 2 years into the future. So for next year, we know that we want to scale up for 2025 because we expect there will be a bull market and huge demand. So we will be probably scaling up and probably then we will scale down. So that's probably our plan for 2025 and 2026. But we don't have ambitions to grow over Prague because it's a lot of work and I cannot imagine like organizing more conferences because then you lose touch with it. And I really want to have the pilot seat and want to have the control over the program, and I really cannot like imagine organizing more than 2 conferences per year.
I can imagine two is already a lot. The one international in Prague and the one with the Czech language. So perfect. Then we come to our end routine where the previous guest is asking a question for the next guest. And the question for you is, what event or thought or video or whatever in your life was the turning point for you where you said, Bitcoin it is? I'm going all in Bitcoin. I'm doing Bitcoin conference. I'm doing that. Like, is there some video thought, some event that happened that you're like, I'm now going all in Bitcoin or I'm going to Bitcoin?
For me, it was probably a combination of books. I would say it was a Bitcoin Standard and a book from Murray Rothbard. I forgot the title, but I would say it was a combination of like hard money, that I got this hard money standard and I connected with the upcoming inflation because I could see that how governments are printing, and I could see the inflation coming already in 2008, 17, 18, before the real inflation hit, the number hit it. So it wasn't probably video, but yes, okay. If I have to choose a video, it was definitely Andreas Antonopoulos. This is my Bitcoin daddy.
Yeah, he has been orange pilling a lot, I think. Perfect. And thank you, Matthias. I will use the opportunity in the last to make a second call for like get to the Bitcoin conference. It's been a real pleasure last year, and I think it will be an even better pleasure this year with a bigger Bitcoin bull market. I'm already looking forward to the next year when we are, I don't know at which prices, how many people and how big the venue will be. So this will be amazing. Just get the link in the description. I think code Robin it is, even for a discount. And yeah, is there anything before we end the podcast you want to share? Where can people get in touch with you? Where can people follow you? Where can people ask you questions?
Yeah, thank you, Robin. It was a really nice chat. I am available on Twitter at Matyas44Cook. Visit our website, have a look at the program, have a look at the site events. For those who are really deep into the technology, I would say that it's good to come day earlier for a DevHack Day. It's unprecedented meeting of 500 people. The tickets are on sale already. So, and for your American listeners over the ocean, I would say come to Prague, meet European Bitcoiners, because we are different, and it's very interesting. I can say from my personal point, to meet people from other continent. It's eye-opening experience.
Definitely. Yeah. Then thank you, Matthias, for your time. Thank you for being on the show. I'm looking forward to meeting you in Prague. Bye
Thank
bye.
you, Robin. Bye bye.